tubers, two bets, and of course my colorful collection of crazy people. Um, this video is 2 years, 8 months in the making. And this is the final follow-up on Expat John. If you're new to the channel, you probably or may not know who Expat John is. Who am I talking about? And I'll give a real quick synopsis, and then I'm going to give the follow-up report as of today as to how Expat John is doing. It's the most asked question that I get on my channel ever. I think there were 11,000, 12,000 comments on the video that I did with John. So, 2 years, 8 months ago, John came into the country, called me up on the phone and said, hey, I watch your channel. Would you like to grab a cup of coffee and talk? I said, sure. So we got together, and I said, and he told me this torrid tale of how he had been back and forth to the Philippines, had met a woman, she broke his heart, and then he went back to America and worked and saved his money and then came back out. And I said, hey, you want to come on the channel and tell that story about the woman breaking your heart and what you hope to achieve this time? He said, absolutely, I'd love to do that. So we did. We did this little video, and John just simply said, yeah, I won't review the video or retell the video. I'll put a link to it. And we all just, everybody's called John a hopeless romantic, and he was very endearing. And I really liked him. I was really hoping for the best for him. Unbeknownst to me, John only came over here. He was going to be here for 4 years until he was able to collect his Social Security. John came over here with no income stream and a grand total of $30,000 that he had to make stretch for the next 4 years. That, if you just did the math, is $625 per month for 4 years. And that's including your rent, food, clothes, incidentals, life. And I thought to myself, well, I never said anything to John when he told me that number, but I remember like it was yesterday thinking, this is not going to end well. And so John and I stayed in communication for a couple of weeks after that video, and after he made that announcement about how much money he had. I encouraged him to try to find some work online. He did. It didn't work out. He didn't get a job. He bought a scooter. He rented an apartment. He was digging into the $30,000 pretty quick. He also, in the interim, met a woman, fell in love with her, and they had 2 beautiful babies, twin girls. Unfortunately, John, after about a year and change, was flat broke. And I had lost track of John. Through a friend, I got in contact with him because I heard of the condition he was in. So I contacted John and I said, hey man, can you make it to Dumaguete? He was just living a bus ride away in another barangay. He came down, and I had heard that he was in bad shape, but when I saw him, I was just aghast, I guess is the word. He looked like he had been a POW for the last 10 years, much less 1 year. He had lost all kinds of weight. He looked drawn. He was looking confused. Turns out he had had a big stroke, a major stroke, amongst all of this. So he told me, and there was a time where all he could say was Walla Walla, Walla Walla. That lasted for 3 or 4 days. That's how bad the stroke was. So here he is. Here's this guy, John. He's in the country. He's been here a little over a year. He's got twin girls to take care of. He's got a girlfriend to take care of. He's had a massive stroke. And he's broke. So when we got together, I gave him, after I found him, I gave him some cash. I said, look, dude, I can't support you. I don't have that kind of, deep pockets. But I got to give you some money. I can't stand to see you this way. And So he was very grateful for that. We got some food in his stomach, and I was thinking about him, and I said, you know what, John, if you want, you can come on the channel, and we'll do a little follow-up video from your first one. And he said, well, I don't know if I really want to go on, in this condition. I'll let you know. I said, no pressure, bro. Whatever you want to do, let me know. He called me up a day or two later, contacted me and said, I'd like to do that video with you. I said, cool. So at the time we did the video, John was looking emaciated. He just didn't have any of the vim and the vigor that he had previously. And he simply told his story. And it was called Broke Expat John, No Money, No Honey, or something to that effect. And I thought it was just another video. I thought that it was a great video as far as a warning shot across the bow of guys watching the channel that might pick up on the fact that, hey, this is what could happen to you if you come over here and you're unprepared financially. You either need to have an income stream or a much bigger bank than $600 a month to last for 4 years. That's for everything. Just isn't going to work, especially when you're spending money left and right and you're having children. The math just doesn't work. And John proved that out. So we did the video, and unbeknownst to me, it just took off. I've never had a video do that before or since. Over 700,000 views as of today. And people were pouring in with questions and empathy. And the long story short is we were able here in sleepy little Dumaguete, a lot of guys saw the video, they contacted me, and we actually formed a community. And we were able to garner funds for him. We were able to put him up in a hotel. We got him out of a toxic environment. We put some food in his stomach. His children were sick. They had to be hospitalized. We were able to take care of that for him. And so all of the people just kept supporting him, and it wasn't me. It was me and a bunch of other people that just said, hey, what does John need today, or how's it going? How can I help him? And that's exactly what we did. We got him into an apartment. We took care of his kids for him, and our goal was to get him back to America. That was the only solution. Now, he didn't go easy, but eventually he did go. And I have 3 or 4 videos, did one a month on John because there was so much interest in it. And the final video that I did was him getting on a plane and going to America. That's what the community in Dumaguete had pulled together and managed to do for him. And also helped his girlfriend Diana and helped his children. So my hat's off once again for the millionth time to all the guys and gals that got involved in making that happen. There was also a committee, if you will, in America that greeted John when he got there and found him, or already had ready for him, a room. One of the gentlemen, Roy, that was kind of leading that up, he got John a bank account, got him a driver's license, helped him with, set up with his computer to look for work, set him up with food banks. John did a lot of it on his own also. But they kind of had him set so that he didn't just get off the plane and was homeless there. He was able to go to a room. And when he got to America, within a relatively short period of time, I think within a week, he got out and found himself a part-time job and was not making big money, was just kind of staying above water between the rent and food and getting himself organized and realigned in America. His goal is to continue working And once his Social Security does kick in, he'll be able to collect that and make his way back to the Philippines and be with his family. So I talked to John via Messenger, video chat with one other gentleman, and I got the details on what's going on with John and how he's doing, and I'm going to bring you guys up to date, current, and then that's going to be it for the John show. Okay, so I've got notes. I'm sorry I'm looking down. But in August, John went back to America. That was in 2022. He has a new apartment. He was in a boarding house with a bunch of guys. That wasn't really gelling real well with him. Apparently there was some drug usage and some misfit type of behavior. So he was working part-time, and then he did land a better job working 40 hours. And actually, he works 61 hours and doing it in 12-hour shifts. I had to write all this down to keep it straight. And he is saving money, and he was able to upgrade to, he's still renting a room. He didn't get a full-blown apartment. He's so conscientious of his budget that he doesn't even have a regular bed. He sleeps on an air mattress. But he was pretty proud. He says, you know what, Paul, I bought a brand new air mattress, and it's really comfortable. It beats the hell out of sleeping on the floor. So, you know, he's doing what he can to cut back. He lives, the good news is, he lives about 15 minutes from work. And he has a bicycle. The bicycle was donated to him, I believe, from one of the charitable organizations that are out there. I don't remember the name of it. So he rides his bike to work, works his 12 hours, does his shift, says he comes home, he's exhausted, as he should be, and pretty much just gets himself something to eat. He gets online, he talks, he sees his babies as often as he can, waves to them. He's very proud to say that they're now walking. They're 3 years old. And of course, he misses them dearly. He misses his girlfriend dearly. And the good news there is that there was a toxic type of environment that they were both living in, or all four of them were living in. And what John has managed to do since he's been back in the States is he put Diana, that's the name of his girlfriend, and his babies into their own apartment away from the environment that they were in. Apparently the babies were always getting sick. And the reason the babies were always getting sick with respiratory diseases or incidences was people were smoking in the room with the kids, people were coughing. Apparently that whole barangay where they were living, everybody's always sick with one thing or another. And they would be in and out where the babies were, and the babies were catching whatever the adults had, and the cycle would never stop. Diana was constantly taking them to the hospital. The community was stepping up and helping Diana in the beginning. John counseled Diana. They found a new apartment for her and the babies. They have one helper that comes in and helps her because 2 kids, 1 mom, a little hard to handle when they're 3 years old, all going in different directions. I remember those days. And so John is now not only paying his rent, but he's also paying rent for the apartment, which is cleaner, smoke-free, and they're limiting the amount of people that can come in and come out of it, or Diana is, and that in turn is keeping the babies healthier. They are not exposed to all the pollution and the cigarettes and the people with the sneezes and the coughs and the colds. He is working in a production area clean room. And they produce, it's a healthcare facility or manufacturing facility, and they are making bags. What that means, I'm not sure, but bags, I suppose, sterilized for medical supplies. I didn't get into the details of that. So he works on his feet in a factory, and he's sort of inspecting, doing quality control inspection of the bags in a clean room. He has to wear a gown and a mask and all that kind of stuff, and special shoes. He's getting 61 hours, I think I mentioned that, working 12-hour shifts. And every blue moon, I said, what do you do for yourself, man? He says, you know what? Every now and then, I go with a coworker, and we go down the street, and we drink a couple of beers, and we watch sports or the game on TV. And I said, good for you, man. Good for you. And he is putting away money every month. His goal is to save $2,500 per month. And I guess, in today's America with the rate of pay, I'm not going to get into what his rate of pay is. That's his business. But he is living so small and working so much that his goal, I don't know if he'll reach it, is to get to about $30,000 again by the time that he gets back here to the Philippines. Even if he only gets to $10,000, if he's got his Social Security check coming in, I probably shouldn't say the amount of that, but I'll just say it's pretty damn good. He actually had a full-time job his entire life in the States. He had suffered a stroke in the States. He had suffered a stroke here in the Philippines. That had affected, he admits, his cognitive abilities to make some decisions. He made his poor ones, but which one of us hasn't? I can look in the mirror and certainly say, I've had my fair share. So that, my friends, excuse me, is the update on Expat John. Just to circle around to the front, he came over here, he had a limited amount of money, he had fathered twins, he went broke, he got together with us, he got his way back home. Once he got home, it took him a little while to settle in, but the man is working full time. He's off life support from us. He is fully functioning on his own, and he is taking care financially of his wife, not his wife, but his girlfriend. He is taking care of the medical bills that are still coming in. He takes care of those. Food, diapers, essentials. He gives her money every month to take care of that, as well as pay for the apartment and take care of his own needs. The next time there will be a video about John, if there ever is one, will be when the day comes that John comes back to America. It'll be next year sometime. Again, he wants that to be somewhat vague, and so do I. And the reason why is that John and Diana unfortunately received a lot of hate on the video that we did. And to this day, I feel bad about that. I received a lot of hate, but I don't care. But I didn't think it was right that Diana took so much hate. And so he's very reticent about this. I told him, I'm not going to do anything that you don't give me permission to do. And we were chatting on our last video chat, excuse me, and I said, man, I'm inundated with questions. Can I just tell people that you're doing okay? He said, sure. So he gave me the details of his work, Diana, the kids, and all that. All right, kids, that's my video. That's the update on Expat John. I hope you're all doing well. See you next time.